Hello, welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews. My name is Alyssa, and this is my Trans Life HRT monthly update for January 2022. It is my 17-month on HRT update video. For my other videos, I haven't been saying how long I've been on it in the title. I think I'm going to start doing that now. It's been 17 months. I started on August 4th. 2020. February 4th of 2022, a few weeks from now, will be my year and a half. So I'm just a little shy. I'm actually halfway in between my 17-month and 18-month on it. Every month I do give an update on my HRT progress, and then usually also like just a general like trans life update, like how's my life going, various different topics that I want to talk about. Last month I talked about my anxiety around being nude in public spaces where I didn't have that anxiety before, and by that I mean, like where it's socially acceptable to be nude, such as spas, locker rooms, in my case, hot springs. I'm not talking about, going to a restaurant or whatever being naked. I'm talking about places where you would normally go and it's socially acceptable to be naked in front of other people. Wasn't a big deal for me before, but kind of is now. I talked about that in my December video. In my November video, I talked about doing LSD for the first time as a trans woman, and a bunch of other things in that video as well. This month, I don't know, don't really have anything like that, so I think I'm mostly just going to focus on my HRT update. I might have something to talk to you about in February as far as the general life update goes, but we'll see about that. For this month of January 2022, I think I'm just going to pretty much focus on my HRT update. I'm also going to give a little bit of, a lecture on, how to treat trans people, how to be respectful to trans people, which hopefully most of you know anyway, but I think the more you hear it, the better it is to hear it. HRT, in case you are new to the term, is hormone replacement therapy. Usually includes a regimen of estradiol and spirulactone or other testosterone blocker, sometimes progesterone. So for me personally, I got spirulactone, which is testosterone blocker. A few months ago started progesterone, and just a month ago switched from estradiol sublingual under the tongue to estradiol injection, and I talked about that a little bit in my last update video because I think I had just started it. So I've now taken, I think, 5 injections since then, and last week rather, which actually just a couple days ago, my most recent injection, I did a video call with the nurse from the Gender Pathways Clinic, because the nurse who originally taught me was just a general nurse, not necessarily specific to estrogen, just like in general, like this is how you inject yourself. So I just had some questions, so just to follow up, make sure I'm doing it right, because I didn't think I was always getting the full dose because of me messing up. So I did that, and I definitely got the full dose. And I don't know, this is probably just in my head, but after that, I was just ooh, I just, ooh, like I just shot myself with, estrogen, and all these emotions came. But I was like, that really happened. I was just like, that's probably psychosomatic. I don't know. So I probably have mentioned this in a previous video, but the first week that I did these injections, I think by halfway through the week, which is about Tuesday, about halfway through my cycle, because you do it once a week, in case I didn't make that clear. About halfway through, I was like, woo, my emotions were, that kind of settled down after that. I didn't experience that as much the following week. Maybe I didn't get the full dose. I don't know, but I don't know. But it has been a little bit up and down. But it was only that first week where it was really like, oh my god, like overwhelming. But it has been, yeah, a little bit of a emotional roller coaster, but not too uncontrollable. Um, Now, the main thing, as I've talked about in other videos, the main reason that I switched to injections, also the main reason I switched to progesterone or added progesterone a few months ago, is that I am really concentrating on my breast development and hoping to get natural breast development without having to get surgery. And the progress on that is that, yeah, it seems to be very, very gradual since the last time I recorded. Since I've started my now on my 5th estradiol injection, I definitely feel like they're more rounded underneath even than the last time I was here talking about it. I feel like I think it's very gradual, but the goal is for that not to just stall out, for to continue going until I want some cleavage. Like I've got a little breast for sure, but it's not where I want it to be. So I'm still working on hoping that will happen without the need for surgery. I may have said last month that I might talk to my doctor about at least starting the process for breast augmentation surgery. I didn't. I had a phone call with my doctor last week, and we just agreed that I would get my estradiol level checked again in March. So this is January, so about 2 months from now, get it checked again. And hopefully it's a lot higher because my estradiol level was low the last time I got it checked in December. So we're hoping that's higher, and hopefully I'm seeing some more breast development in the next 2 months. And if not, I may have to go at least start the process for the surgery. It'll take a long time to actually get to surgery. But yeah, a little hesitant about it, which I'll talk about in just a minute. First, let me just kind of briefly talk about in general why this area of the body is so important to me. If you're trans, you know what dysphoria is like. If you're not trans, maybe you've heard the term dysphoria, but you don't know exactly what does that mean. Well, it means different things for different people. It depends. But for me, I had a very strong dysphoria in my chest area. And what does that mean? So when I had made the decision to transition, but still was not out. So anytime I would go out in public, I would still present as male, but I knew that I was going to be able to present myself as female soon, but I wasn't doing it yet. That's when my dysphoria was out of control. This was like in June and July of 2020. Like my dysphoria was overwhelming, and it was general dysphoria that when I went out and had to interact with people as a man and go into men's bathrooms and wear men's clothing, then it just everything felt wrong, and it just was overwhelming. I've always had that to a degree, but not as sustained and not as just overwhelming as it was in June and July of 2020. But in this area of my body in particular, like I would wake up in the middle of the night and like feel for where are my breasts? Like why is this flat? What is happening? Why is this wrong? And it would create this like really intense like twisting in my gut, like kind of pain. And it'd be overwhelming, and I'd be like, so that's how dysphoria manifested for me personally. And it definitely, this eased up once I was able to go in public more full time. And the reason why I wasn't as much is because of the area that I was living. I was a little, not as comfortable going out in that area. I was kind of out in the mountain town in the country, and more conservative people out there. Once I moved back into Portland, I was more comfortable. Went into the city, and then also once I did start on HRT, as the months go by, I become less and less dysphoric because just my body chemistry started feeling right, my emotional state started feeling right, and then I started to see very, very slow development of my breasts, which also made me feel better. Um, but as I said, my breast development is not there yet, and has been the area of my body where I've felt the most dysphoria, so it is the most important for me personally, and I need to make this very clear. If you're a cis person and don't understand this, that is me. Every individual person is different. And I mean every individual person is different, generally speaking, but also every individual trans person is different. This is me. That is my personal feeling, is that up here, much more than down here. But that's me. So now I do kind of want to get into surgeries a little bit. So first of all, I want to make it clear that the information I'm about to offer, I'm offering freely of my choice, and I've offered it before. If you've seen my other videos, it's not new, but maybe you haven't seen any of my other videos. And I'm offering freely personal information for you on YouTube about whether or not I want surgeries in certain areas of my body. And I'm doing it for two reasons, both educational. One, for the cis folk to just reiterate that your gender identity is not dependent on what you do with your body and what surgeries you do or don't get. I hate it when I've seen things in like movies, and there was a Family Guy episode. I don't watch the Family Guy, but one of my favorite YouTubers reviewed a Family Guy episode where the dude, I don't even know his name, the main dude in that show, accidentally got gender affirming surgery, and they're like, oh, you have a vagina now you're a woman. No, it is not defined by whether or not you change your genitalia. That doesn't define your gender. Your gender is whatever you identify with, nor does hormones define your gender, which is something I talked about in a video I did about 3 months ago. I had a comment from someone telling me that if I ever lost access to my hormones, I would revert back to a man, and though I would get more male characteristics, like hair would start growing back, this hair might start to recede again. I wouldn't be a man. It's not defined by hormones, not defined by your genitalia. So that's why I want to be open about the surgeries that I'm getting, or not getting, if the case may be, just so that you are aware that if I have chosen to not get a surgery on certain areas of my body, that does not mean that I'm not a woman. I just want to make that clear. And then secondly, for other trans folk out there, especially trans women, or trans men as well, you shouldn't feel pressured to ever get surgery anywhere if you don't want to. And I do think that there's unintentional pressure from the trans community. They don't mean it that way. I think it may be coming from inside of me personally, where you just hear everybody always talking about getting surgery all the time. When you're around other trans folks, and it's at the center of the world, like, I need to get this surgery, and you hear everyone else doing it, and it might give you the idea that you have to do it. You might be pressuring. It's really coming from yourself, to be honest with you, because the other trans people are talking about themselves. They're not telling you what you need to do. But I think some of us might internalize that and be like, well, everyone else is doing it. Like, you just conditioned your whole life to have to go along with what everyone else does, and so you have this urge to be like, well, everyone else is doing it, that means I'm not really a trans woman if I don't do that. So you have to fight that urge. You have to fight that if that is happening. Only get surgeries if you're a trans person, if it's for you, if it's what you really want. what everyone else is doing, everyone else is doing. But you are still you, regardless of what you decide. So that's why I wanted to be open, just kind of about my choices for surgery. So, but in doing so, I do want to make this clear that well, let me show you a little chart here. Okay, so I'm going to show you a chart of the anatomy of a trans woman. So as you can see here, down here in the genital area is none of your business. Up here in the chest area is none of your business. Up here in the facial area, did you get facial feminization surgery, or are you thinking about it? None of your business. And up here, are you going to do anything about that male pattern baldness? None of your business. None of that's none of your business. So I wanted to make it clear that just because I am freely offering to divulge my personal decisions on surgery, that I am freely choosing to give that to you for the reasons that I just stated. That does not, under any circumstances, give you permission to ask any trans person what they are deciding to do with their body. It is none of your business. Hopefully you know this by now if you're watching this video, but you don't ask a trans person about surgeries in their genital area any more than you would ask any other person something about their genitals. Like if you had heard a rumor that a dude was getting penis enlargement surgery or taking penis enlargement pills or whatever, you don't just go up to him and ask him that. And I think people are aware of that. They understand that it's not socially acceptable to go up and ask a random person about their genitals, except when it comes to trans people, and they think it's okay. It is not. It is absolutely not okay. Remember this chart. Once again, the anatomy of a trans woman, none of your goddamn business. Unless they choose to freely divulge that information of their own accord for whatever reason. And in my case, as I said, I already told you the reasons why I would like to do this. So all of that out of the way, my deals with surgery is right now, as I said, this is my most dysphoric part of my body. So this is the part I'm concentrating on. If I am unable to get satisfactory growth through hormones, then I will need to get, for my own self, breast augmentation. And it's a long, annoying process. I have to get a letter, and then I have to get a consult, and I have to, it'll take forever. But as of now, it is the only surgery that I would consider. If I don't need it, if I get satisfactory breast growth where I feel less dysphoric, just simply from the hormones that I took, then as of right now, this moment, I am content and never getting any surgeries of any kind ever. And I don't mean just gender affirming surgeries. I mean like any surgeries. If I could go the rest of my life without getting surgery, probably not. Things that happen, like I might, break my ankle, or I might, when you get older, you might need surgery. So probably I'm never going to avoid all surgeries for the rest of my life. But if I had to choose, I would live the rest of my life without a single surgery. I had a surgery once when I was 13 years old, where I had appendicitis. My appendix burst inside, and they had to go in and do surgery, and it was kind of a traumatic experience. So I'm just not in a rush to get surgery again. Also, as far as gender affirming surgery, I've heard a lot of other trans people talking about it. I've seen other YouTube videos, and I've talked to people about it, and it's an ordeal. It's stressful. There's a lot involved in it, and it's a fucking ordeal. And then when you get bottom surgery, you can be incapacitated for a while, just like if you get any surgery. You have a recovery period time. It just sounds such an ordeal and so stressful that unless my dysphoria is really, really strong in that area of my body, and I really, really, really have to have it, I'm not going to. And right now, my feeling is that I could go the rest of my life and not get that surgery or any surgeries. Unless, assuming everything happens up here that I wanted to. However, I also reserve the right to change my mind. Things change all the time. There could come a time where I decide, you know what, actually, I really, really do want my area down here to match more what I feel inside. And I might decide that I really do want to get that surgery. But right now, I don't. I do reserve the right to change my mind, however. And I can't emphasize this enough, it really is an individual choice. And it is not for you or anyone else, even other trans people, to judge others on what surgery they do or do not get. It is an individual choice. My choice, as of this moment, is that my ambition is never to have a surgery for the rest of my life. And I know that's, kind of a little foolish and when you include all surgeries, probably not going to happen. But, and I also can change my mind. All right. Okay, so thanks for listening to me ramble on about my HRT and surgeries and things of that nature. I will be back in February. I may have some more trans life related things to talk about. I'm not going to have a whole lot to talk about in the HRT front unless, there's some more breast development. I can talk about that. But nevertheless, I will be back. Please subscribe for that if you haven't already. And as a bonus, if you are into nerdy stuff such as Star Trek or Marvel or The Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, that sort of stuff, Spider-Man, all that kind of thing. That's what I mostly do on this channel, so please subscribe for all of that as well. All right, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.